Hi guys, welcome to Pydjango tutorials. So in this video we will create a load more button in Django. That is, when user hits this button or clicks on this button, load more post, then we will load further post, and when he or she again hits that button, then we will load more data. That is, we will not render or load all the data at once. We will simply load those data in small chunks so that uh, it does not create too much strain on our server when we are in production. So this is actually one of the efficient ways to reduce our server costs, because if user doesn't want to see all the data, why should we render them, right? So let's give you the demo of what I mean by this, and then we will go back to our coding part. So I'm on our inspect mode because I've set this network to slow 3G because it's easy to test it that way. So when user clicks on this load more button, so let me just click on this load more button, and you can see as soon as the loading is complete, that loader become disappear and data is loaded. 6th and 7th post. Let's again click on this. Now 8th and 9th post are loaded. Let's again click on this. Now 10th post is loaded. This is because this is the last post in the database, and when I again click on this loader load more button, then alert appears that there are no more posts to load. So this is what we will be creating in this video, and please guys do like, share and subscribe to the channel. It will be of great help, and let's get started with our video. So far I've already created a Django model with basic field titles and descriptions. So, and I also added 10 objects to the admin. Now let's create a basic view for rendering these data. So let's start with that. So here I need a Django model. So from my app.models, import post. Let's create a function def index request post obj to post dot objects dot all, and at starting or at first point I will be rendering first 5 objects from the model, and rest will be rendered after the user clicks the button load more, or when the user wants to that data to be rendered, then I will be showing those datas. Also we need to send total number of objects in our model because we need it later. So I will be sending from here only. So post.objects.count. Now we will simply render this. So return render request, and our file is, I think, index.html, and context will be posts, and it is post obj, and total obj equals to, that is total obj. So that's what we have to do for our index function. Let's make the URL mapping for this. So from my app dot views import index path index, name will also be index. Now let's come to our HTML part. Now I already have the basic boilerplate for this, So let me just copy and paste that. You can obviously get it from the GitHub, so don't worry, GitHub link will be given in the description. Let me just grab the code. So this is the code, and I have already included the links for Bootstrap, AJAX, that is jQuery, and other links that we need. Also, let's create our body tag. And let's close our HTML tag. Okay, so let's get started with our basic HTML. So I will be using Bootstrap classes. So this container is one of the Bootstrap classes, and let's give the heading post. Also, let's create a class content with ID content also, and now let's create a for loop for post in posts that we are sending from our views, and for, and so for this also I will be using Bootstrap border class to give the border. So it is something single dot single content dot border success. So this this border success class will basically give green color to our border, and I want margin top to be 2 and padding left of 2 actually. And let's render our data now. So it is post dot title and post dot tesc. So that's it for now. While I'm here, let's also create a load more button. So let's create that also. So I will be creating that outside of the content class. So let's create a div load more ptn with margin top of 3 and id as ptn. Also button tag with type of button and class as btn success. This is also a Bootstrap class that I'm using, and text will be load more post. Okay, let's check this out. So let's run the server, python manage.py run server. So okay, it's run successfully. Let's test this out. So here are the posts. This is first, second. I've already created 10 objects in the model, so that's why it is already rendering. And as I have shown in our views, we are only sending first 5 data. So this actually sends first 5 data, and that's what we are rendering in the views. So it is successfully running. So now let's also give a sort of a loader, so that whenever user hits the load more post button, we will kind of show a loader or a spinner that something is loading. So I already have code for this, so let me just grab it from the bootstrap website. That is code for the spinner. Okay, here it is, and let me show you how it looks on the website. Refresh it. And so this is what I'm talking about. Whenever user hits the load more post button, this loader will show up, and as soon as the loading is complete, it will be made invisible via JavaScript. So let's get started with that. And also use alert, that is, wait, let me just paste it. So this is the alert that no more posts are there to load. So let me just show it on the website. So suppose we user already have loaded all the posts that are in the database, and if again he or she uses this button, so this alert will appear that there are no more posts to load, that is all the posts have already been loaded. So this is what we will do. So let's get started with that. Let's create a script, and let's create function for loading the more post. Load more post, and let's get the length of current item, that is total number of items present for now, just $, and as we can see, this single content, if we get the length of this div, we can actually get the total number of posts that are present for now. So let's say we get this class and we get the length of this post. So we get our current item. Now what is this? Let me show you. If I keep this here, and let's just log this current item, and just comment this out. Let me show you. Okay, let's inspect it, and you can see, let me refresh it again, we are getting here 5 because there are 5 objects, that is length of the div is 5, so that's what we are getting. So this length is actually the total number of posts that are being rendered, so that's what we are getting from the length. So let's get ahead, let's comment this out and comment out this. Now we get the length. We now send a AJAX request, so $AJAX. So I haven't created a URL yet, so let's just keep it empty for now. Type will be get, and data will be this total item, and this is actually the current item. Now let's implement basic function. We need before send function, we also need success function. By the way, these are basics, these are basic jQuery functions, so if you don't know about them, you can watch my other videos about basic jQuery. I'll give the link to those videos in the description, so please check out those videos if you want to learn more. And we also need an error function. Here in success function we will be getting a response that we will be sending from our views, and if error occurs then this. So for now let's just simply log this response, or if error comes let's just simply log this error. Okay, now when do we want to call this function? We want to call this function when user hits the load more button. So let's grab that button first. Const load ptn equals to document dot get element by id, and id of the button is btn. Okay, so load btn dot add event listener of type click. Let's implement a arrow function, and on click we want to load more post. Now basic HTML or JavaScript part is finished. Let's handle this request in our views file. So let's create a function load more request. So first let's get all the items that are already present. So total item equals to request dot get, and data we are sending is total item. So this string has to be same, total item, and this all should be int. Okay, so this has to be int. Now let's initialize one more variable, limit 2. So this limit is basically how many posts we want to send or render after user clicks the button. So let's say user clicks the button, then we want to send 2 more data. So that is what limit will do. So let's get the post obj. So and this will be list because we will be sending JSON response. So either we can use this list or with the values, that is post.objects.values, or we can use simple this post.objects.all and serialize that data to send a JSON response. So I'm using this. Obviously you can use whatever you want. So and this will be from total item to total item plus limit. So here we are sending from 0 to 5. Now for the first time when user clicks the load more button, this total item value will be 5. So here total item will be 5, so it will be from 5 to 7. So that's how this will work. Now let's send the data. Again we are sending post, and it will be post obj. We will be sending JSON response, so let's import that from django.http import JSON response. And by the way, these errors are due to pylons, so don't worry about that, I'll fix that later. So this is nothing to worry about. Return JSON response data equals to data. So it's done. Let's make the URL mapping. So I will be some load more path load more, name will be load. So we haven't given the URL, so let's give that. Load, sorry, URL load. So that's all we have to do for now. Let's see if this is working or not. Here it is, load more button. So after clicking the button we get two arrays, and those two arrays are id 7 and id 8, that is 6th post and 7th post. So after 5th we will be getting 6th post and 7th post, so it is working. Now if we again click it, we again get the same data, because length of the div is still 5, and we because we are not actually rendering at any data in the HTML yet, so that's why it is sending the same data again. Once we render those data, then value of the let me show you, then value of this total item will become 7, and the value that we will get here will become 7. So and this post.objects.values will be 7 to 9. That's how it will be changing. So let's get started with that. That is rendering those data. So first I have already implemented this class not visible, so let's use this. So dot not visible display none. So loader and that alert box is not visible now, and we will be making them visible through JavaScript. Now for that we need certain things, so let's grab those things. We need spinner, so document dot get element by id is spinner. Also we need total objects. For total objects, yes, here from the first function we are sending this total object. So instead of rendering this, we can simply use it like this. Let me show you. Total obj, that is what we are sending, right? Total obj, yes, total obj. I want it to be JSON script. Wait, I'll show you what I mean by this. JSON script, and name will be JSON total. Let's save this and let's open our web page, refresh this, open view page source. Now that line which I've written just now, this line, you can see here it is script. So id is automatically given by Django JSON total, and this is the total number of count, that is total number of objects present in our database. So this is what, so this is the line, that's what this actually means. So total object, and this is JSON script, and id is JSON total. So we will be getting our total objects from this. How? Let me show you. Const total JSON dot parse document dot get element by id JSON total is the id dot we want text content. So we will get total number of objects in this total variable. Also we need alert. document dot get element by id, and id is alert. Okay, so that's all the things we need. Now let's come to our before send function. So just before sending AJAX request, I want my load button to become invisible. So classless.add not visible, and just before sending the request I want spinner to be appear on screen. So classless.remove and remove not visible. Oh sorry, not visible. Let's copy this class because we will be using quite a lot. Sorry. So that's all for before send function. And as far as success function is concerned, let's first get the data. Let's get those data that we get from the response. So response dot post that we will be getting, because we are sending post from here. Response dot post, and as soon as we get the data I want spinner to be removed from the class. So classless dot add not visible class, and we want our data to be loaded on this div, right? So we have to grab this div content. So let me just get that. So const, let's make them content container document dot get element by id content, and let's use the map function for getting all the data. So data dot map, let's make the variable post, arrow function, so content container dot inner html plus equal, and let's use backticks, and we can grab this div from here because ultimately this is what we are rendering. Let's paste this. Okay, okay, so here I will be using $, and it is post dot title, and here it will be post dot tesc. Okay, so that's it, that's what we have to do. Let's test this out and hopefully this should work. Okay, let's refresh this and let's click the load button. So you can see as soon as the load button is clicked, 2 more posts are loaded, but I think we haven't made our button visible yet. Okay, we are making our button invisible and we are not again making it visible again. So let's just make our button visible. So, sorry, this, let's copy this and paste this here, and instead of add we will be using remove. Let's test this out again. Okay, so 6th and 7th post, now again 8th, 9th, again 10th, Now after this 10th post there are no more posts to load, and still the button is there, and there is no way user can know that there are no more posts to load. So what we can do is create some sort of alert box so that user can know that there are no more posts to load. So that's what we will be doing now. Let's copy this and let's create a logic. If this current item is actually the length of the div, if it becomes equal to the total is the number of objects that we are getting this. So as we have seen earlier, this is actually 10. We have seen in the source page of the web page. So this is 10. So now if current item becomes equal to the total number of objects in our database, then what we want our alert to be visible to users. So alert dot class list dot remove not visible, and else if this is not the case, we want our button to appear, right? So let's say if this part is true, then our button will hide and alert will appear, and if it is not true, then button will appear and alert will hide. So let me show you. Let's refresh this. Let's click this, load more post, 6th 7th, load more post, 8th 9th, load more post. Now 10th, all 10 posts are now loaded. Now if I click again on this, then button disappears and this alert appears that no more post to load. Also, if you are not able to see the loader or spinner, let's go to our inspect and let's refresh this, and in the network tab let's set the throttling to slow 3G. Now let's refresh this. So now it will be behaving as if this is slow 3G network, so you can see it more properly. Let's hit the load more post button. You can see loader appears. Now as soon as the data is loaded, it disappears. Again let's do this. Again 8th and 9th post are loaded. Again let's do this. Now this is the final post. Now if I click on this, see, now alert appears, no more post to load. So that's all we have to do to create an endless pagination or load more button in Django. And I hope you like the video. If you do, please like, share and subscribe, and please share it as much as you can. It will be of a great help. Till then, thank you so much for watching, and till then, goodbye.